is really cool in comparison to our competing agencies, and that's because we have all of the pieces to be a really strong growth partner, but we're also built off of the foundation of just being a really strong paid media partner that's good at media buying and really good at pumping out ad creative. So with us, you get both. You get a higher level strategy, and that gets worked on in the first 60 days, but alongside that, you get all the tactical solutions. So you have a media buyer in their day one doing the changes that are needed and presented to you in the audit process. And you have a content manager that's onboarded with your brand that can instantly just start pumping out creative for sales or product drops or things that still matter and bringing in revenue while you're working on that higher level strategy that will help you grow and excel with years to come. We do the work to make sure that you're building a healthy brand, and that comes with our higher level strategy. We would look at what industry they're in first of all. So what are their peak seasons? Is it Black Friday like most brands, or are they a wedding brand? And should we actually start to think, is it springtime when brides are prepping for their weddings? So industry really matters first of all, because it helps you anticipate when those peak moments are and when your spend should be higher, but it also helps you anticipate when you should be filling up your funnel. So we're not an agency that looks at well, we do look at a day-to-day basis at your efficiency, but we're not panicking if your efficiency is higher than the target. If you're in a period when we realize that we're stocking the pond and basically prospecting for you, filling up that funnel for when your peak season comes, and then we can do things like funnel flush with email and other channels. This would be one of the most common problems that brands face, and that might be because you have an email agency and you have an organic agency and a paid agency running Meta and Google ads. But with Pilothouse, we operate in something called the hub and spoke model. So you get an account strategist, which is me, and we work alongside you and your marketing team, and we become an extension of the brand. And because you have everything under one roof, you get all insights under one umbrella, which makes cross-channel learnings really easy to do. So for example, if on Meta you're doing persona building and you've identified that you have a working middle-class mom as your ideal persona, we start working with the email team to develop campaigns that speak to that persona and make sure that we are actually targeting who we're hitting with Meta ads in email as well and not being too generic with our messaging. It's like one of the toughest problems in marketing, where you can add up your Meta purchases, your Google purchases, and your TikTok purchases. You'll get the sum, and it won't equate to what you see in Shopify. Everyone knows that. Everyone deals with attribution and trying to figure out what their North Star is. We really like partnering with Triple Whale to get a better view for attribution. We have Triple Whale as a partner at our agency, where we set up dashboards for your brand, and we get a clearer picture on new customer revenue, which channel is driving the most efficient new customers or new customer purchases, and we make decisions based off of the ecosystem as a whole and not just what platform data is telling us, because it's always wrong and it always over attributes, and it's the worst thing to try and navigate. We've worked with a lot of founders, and I think one of the best compliments that me and my team ever got from a founder with a jewelry brand was that he felt like we were an extension of their brand. So we knew the ins and outs of their branding and the brand guidelines that him and his team had put together over the years. And that's because in the first 90 days, you don't just get an account strategist. Under that umbrella, you get media buyers that are technical and are the leaders in those channels. You get a content manager that helps with creative strategy. You get a designated graphic designer and video designer that study your brand guidelines and learn the do's and don'ts of what to do on paid ads with the months that come, and you find that our designs just get better with time. So we actually build trust by giving you a really good team of experts that is kind of guided by the strategist. I looked in their ad account and it was all just USPs, but no problem solving. So when you are running conversion campaigns on Meta, you aren't like the only product within that industry that someone who is interested is getting hit with. If they're scrolling on stories, they're going to see, we'll use jewelry for an example, they're going to see you, they're going to see 5 other competitors, that are spewing the same USPs. So we had this brand come in. I was really passionate about the product. I actually thought the quality was great, and they have a really low return rate because it's a genuinely good product. But their ad creative was really similar to all the competitors. And you can't just look at ad libraries of competitors and win off of that. Abusing AI. So agencies, I find, are using AI not in a way that benefits clients, but instead it's hurting them and it's hurting their brand. I think something that really, really bothers me is when I see a brand trying to win by launching 100 ads a day, and it's all made from an AI tool, and the AI tool isn't doing effective messaging. I think that's just AI slop, and it's not going to build a sustainable brand. Instead, what you need is a cohesive strategy that's guiding your messaging and guiding the creative that you're making. I would rather see 30 ads get launched, but 15 become winners, than see 200 get launched and get 10 winners. Because out of those 200, you don't know why the 10 worked. It's luck, and it's just like pulling a number out of a hat. But if you launch 30 and have 15 win, you can actually analyze the 30. Why did you build them? What's the messaging within each of them? And have like an insights engine where it shapes content down the road. And I bet your hit rate will be higher if you actually do the hard work and have a creative strategy. Pilothouse is built a little bit differently, where your main point of contact is someone called an account strategist. Most agencies have account managers. Most agencies have people you talk to every week that don't have the technical experience that a strategist would have. All of the strategists on our team have been with us for years, and they also have years beyond that of marketing experience, where it could be 10 plus, have already spent 100 million on ads themselves, and deep in their background in creative strategy or in media buying. And we tailor the strategist to your brand based off of what you need most. So if you're a number cruncher and you want to get in the weeds with reporting and you want to map out insane projections for different product lines, we have that person for you. If you're more so a visionary that wants to build like a deeper creative strategy and actually wants us to be a part of your brand and celebrity collaborations, we have the right person for you. So we have a really unique team, and we're always learning off of each other, but I think that's what makes us really stand out in comparison to the rest of the advertising world, where I just see a lot of account managers that are just like repeating what their team told them to say to the client, and it's not actually very productive. I think it's really common for like the behind the scenes in the agency for brands to just like not really know what happens. So if you sign on with an agency and you're just expecting ad creative in 3 weeks, you don't really get a good understanding of what the process is. Like, how was the designer briefed? Are you working with the same designer? Why does some of your content look so different than some of your other content? Is half of it AI, half of it designers? At Pilothouse, you get a designated design team, and I think a lot of people forget about how cool that is, where you're always working with the same graphic and video designer, where I have brands that have been with me for 3 years, and it's always been the same design team. And the fact that it's been the same group of people that have like mastered and studied your brand over the past 3 years just makes our designs quicker, tighter, and better, because we know how far we can push it, but we also know what's still on brand. If your Shopify is down, but you're meeting with your agency and they're like, everything's fine, we're up, revenue's up, ROAS is up, there's an attribution problem and you need to figure out how to solve that. What we do is we conduct tests where we actually do maybe like a holdback test. Like, what happens if we decrease meta by 15%? Will we see that impact in certain regions? We can run a zip code test or a geolift test. We can also use Triple Whale as an MTA to build you dashboards that look at different attribution models to get a clearer understanding. So I love Triple Whale because you can see like first click, last click, you can see linear paid where it's split between channels and get like a stronger understanding of what channels are actually driving new customer growth, and also what channels are a part of that like middle bottom of funnel push as well. So it's really cool. You can get things down to the point where you click on a customer and you see they were hit with a TikTok ad 4 months ago. They signed up for the email list at that time, went through the whole flow, but then they were like hit by a meta ad, searched your brand name on Google 2 days later, and then made the conversion. You need a tool like Triple Whale because Google's going to say like, that was all me. I did that I got that purchase. Meta is going to say that too because it's in like a 7-day window, and attribution becomes messy. So we definitely look at the ecosystem when analyzing the channels and make decisions based off of how the account's doing as a whole and not just what you see in Ads Manager. There is a lot of jargon and a lot of buzzwords in the marketing world. And I think at the end of the day, if your partner or your agency isn't able to cohesively tell you what their strategy is, then you have a problem. Or if you join your weekly call with your agency and you say, what is your strategy? And they can't give it to you in 1 to 2 sentences, they are scattered and they're trying to solve 5 things at once without like someone guiding the ship. At Pilothouse, we do that. At Pilothouse, we look at strategy in 3 different lanes. We have growth strategy, channel strategy, and account strategy. And I'll tell you what that means. So growth strategy is the scale and growth system. It's the deeper work that you need to build a sustainable brand in the long term. We actually do like the dirty work over the course of 2 months when you first onboard with us to understand what your heart of the challenge is. So like, what is your core problem? And then we give you a solution. So your core shift would be, what are we going to do to fix it? And it's a cohesive one line that you can take to your board or whoever is curious about why aren't you hitting your sales goals. It trickles down into creative strategy where we start to build out personas under your targets or your master segment, and we build concepts within those personas. So your heart of the challenge and your core shift shape your persona work, which shapes your concepting. And that is your upper level strategy that we call growth strategy. That is ran by an account strategist. Alongside that, we have channel strategy. So under your account strategist, you have a team of experts that have like 5+ years of media buying and technical experience where they're running the day-to-day optimization within your accounts and doing all of the launches and strong media buying that help bring in incremental revenue as well. So that happens day 1. After you do an audit with us and we tell you tactically, like I would say, or like your account's messed up, day 1, your media buyers can go in there and start making those changes. And the last one's account strategy. So at Pilothouse, we operate under something called the hub and spoke model, which means the more services you have through Pilothouse, the more efficient your team is now ran, because all channels will be under one strategist, and that strategist works alongside your marketing team. So they fit right in with the CMO or a director, and you build your growth strategy together while those channels are executing channel strategy. But because they're all under the same account, you gain efficiencies on your side.